Plastic, especially in the form of microplastics and nanoplastics, is increasingly being found in the human body, and research suggests it can have harmful effects in several ways. Here's what scientists know so far. 1. How it gets into us: food and drink, plastic packaging, bottled water, seafood, salt, and even fruits, vegetables can carry microplastics. Air, synthetic clothing fibers, and airborne dust can be inhaled. Skin contact, cosmetics, personal care products, and handling plastic items.
Where it ends up in the body, studies have detected plastics in blood, lungs, placenta, breast milk, heart tissue. 3. Possible effects on human health still being studied: inflammation and immune stress. Plastic particles can trigger immune responses, leading to chronic inflammation. Hormone disruption: many plastics contain endocrine disrupting chemicals like BPA and phthalates, which can affect reproduction, growth, and metabolism. Cell damage: nanoplastics are small enough to enter cells, potentially harming DNA or mitochondria. Cardiovascular risk: a recent 2024 study found higher rates of stroke and heart attack in people with plastic particles in their arteries. Developmental impacts: exposure during pregnancy could affect fetal development.
TWI, it's a concern. Plastics don't break down easily inside the body. They may act as a Trojan horse, carrying heavy metals, pesticides, or other toxins into tissues. Because the research is still new, scientists suspect long-term health effects could be greater than we currently realize. Plastic, especially in the form of microplastics and nanoplastics, is increasingly being found inside the human body, and the effects are starting to concern scientists. Here's what we know so far.
How it gets into us: food and drink, plastic packaging, bottled water, seafood, salt, and even fruits, vegetables can carry microplastics. Air, synthetic clothing fibers, and airborne dust can be inhaled. Skin contact, cosmetics, personal care products, and handling plastic items.
What it does in the body. Research is ongoing, but studies suggest several possible effects. Inflammation and tissue damage. Microplastics can trigger immune responses, leading to chronic inflammation, a risk factor for many diseases. Chemical disruption. Plastics often contain endocrine disrupting chemicals like BPA that can interfere with hormones, potentially affecting fertility, metabolism, and brain development. Cardiovascular impact. A recent 2024 study found microplastics in human arteries. They were linked to higher risks of heart attack and stroke. Organ accumulation. Microplastics have been detected in human blood, lungs, liver, kidneys, and even the placenta, suggesting they can travel throughout the body. Potential cancer risk. While direct proof in humans is limited, lab studies show that plastic particles and associated chemicals can damage DNA and promote tumor growth. Unknowns. We still don't know the exact long-term effects, but the evidence is strong enough that many scientists consider this an urgent public health issue. Nanoplastics, even smaller than microplastics, may be the most dangerous because they can penetrate cell membranes and interact directly with our DNA and organelles. Pathway of plastic in the human body. 1. Entry points: food and drink, seafood, bottled water, salt, fruits, vegetables, air, synthetic fibers, urban dust, pollution, skin contact, cosmetics, personal care products, packaging. 2. Absorption and circulation. Gut absorption: micronanoplastics cross intestinal barrier into blood. Inhalation into lungs: particles enter bloodstream via lung tissue. Skin absorption: small extent, nanoplastics from creams or powders. 3. Transport in the body: bloodstream circulates plastics to organs. Lymphatic system: immune pathways can trap or move particles. 4. Accumulation sites: lungs, liver, kidneys, heart and blood vessels, placenta, brain. Nanoplastics can cross the blood-brain barrier. 5. Possible effects: inflammation, immune reaction to foreign particles. Hormone disruption: BPA, phthalates. Tissue and DNA damage, oxidative stress. Heart and vascular issues: artery blockage risk. Potential cancer links still being studied.
Here's a clear overview of common plastics, where they're found, and their health risks. Plastic type and code: common uses, main chemicals of concern, potential health risks. 1. PET, polyethylene terephthalate, water bottles, soda bottles, salad dressing containers. Antimony, phthalates from contamination. Hormone disruption, possible cancer risk with prolonged exposure. 2. HDPE, high density polyethylene, milk jugs, detergent bottles, juice bottles, few additives, but may leach nonylphenol, possible hormone disruption, generally considered safer but still not inert.
2. HDPE, high density polyethylene, milk jugs, detergent bottles, juice bottles, few additives, but may leach nonylphenol, possible hormone disruption, generally considered safer, but still not inert. 3. PVC polyvinyl chloride, plumbing pipes, vinyl flooring, cling wrap phthalates, lead cadmium, organotins, hormone disruption, reproductive harm, developmental issues, increased cancer risk. For LDPE low-density polyethylene, bread bags, grocery bags, squeezable bottles, additives like antioxidants, slip agents, potential endocrine effects from additives, generally low risk if minimal heat exposure. 5. VP polypropylene, yogurt containers, straws, bottle caps, few known toxic additives, generally considered safer, but heating can release chemicals like oligomers. 6. Petasilicons polystyrene, foam cups, takeout containers, disposable cutlery, styrene, nervous system effects, possible carcinogen. 7. Other polycarbonate bioplastics, mixed, baby bottles, large water jugs, electronics, bisphenol A, BPA, or BPA alternatives, hormone disruption, brain and reproductive system effects. Heating plastics or exposing them to sunlight speeds up chemical leaching. Even safer plastics can release microplastics over time. The smallest particles can enter the bloodstream and accumulate in organs. Hi, I'm Uncle Earl. This is what I know about plastic. For me, it started in 1971. When I first became aware and informed about the dangerous chemicals to make plastic. Here's my story about plastic. In 1971, I was in the Air Force Station at Barksdale Air Force Base, Shreveport, Louisiana. I went on my first mission company, my first Lieutenant Food Service Officer to DuPont, Pennsylvania. When we arrived, we were met by Air Force Captain Chemical Engineer. Their mission was to inspect, research, and report their findings for possible procurement of their plastic ware products, plastic glass. I was the driver, airman first class. When we arrived at the DuPont complex, the two went and complete their mission. When they both came out, they both look a little sick and both asked me to go in and see for myself. When I went in, I was first asked to strip down and put on a protective uniform from head to toe. As I entered the plant where the plastic was being manufactured, there was a golden film floating around the plant. Immediately asked to leave. When I arrived back in the car, I asked the chemical as the captain, what was that stuff floating around the plant? He told me that it was the result process of making plastic with the most dangerous chemical on earth. So they both denied DuPont products in the Air Force in 1971. Reasons: dangerous chemicals, olefins after wash.
Here's a short history of plastic, trimmed down but still covering the key points. 1862, British inventor Alexander Parkes creates Parkesine, the first man-made plastic, from cellulose. 1869, John Wesley Haight developed celluloid as a substitute for ivory in billiard balls, the first commercially successful plastic. Early 1900s, the first fully synthetic plastic. 1907, Belgian chemist Leo Baekeland invents Bakelite, the first plastic made entirely from synthetic materials, opening the door for mass production. 1930s, 1940s, expansion and wartime demand. Nylon. 1935, polyethylene and PVC are developed. During WWI, plastics replace metal, glass, and natural materials for military gear, planes, and parachutes. 1950s, 1970s, the plastic boom. Lightweight, cheap, and easy to mold, plastics flood into packaging, toys, furniture, and fashion. Single-use items like plastic bags, bottles, and utensils become part of everyday life. 1980s, 2000s, global ubiquity. Plastics dominate industries from electronics to medicine. Recycling programs emerge, but production continues to rise faster than recycling rates. 2010s today, environmental reckoning. Research uncovers microplastics in oceans, wildlife, and even human bodies. Movements push for bans on single-use plastics, and scientists work on biodegradable alternatives.
Well, I never imagined that plastic would dominate the world. From 1971 by 2025, everything around us is plastic. We put it on our heads, on our eyes, and our mouth. We wear it on our body from our head to our toes. We drink it and eat it. We sneeze it and squeeze it. We feel it. We even sit on it and spit on it. Plastic is everywhere. We breathe it. We sneeze it. How much profit has the plastic industrial made in 2024? The overall industrial plastic sector as a whole globally. On the industry side, net profit figures aren't typically published for global industrial plastics collectively. We can look at reported profit margins or select companies in the sector. Some highlights from key companies that focus on plastics. Borealis Mage, Austrian plastics manufacturer, reported a net profit of roughly 566 million euros in 2024. The DuPont company posted a 60% surge in profit in 2024 alongside sales growth, sales up to 0.5% to nearly $12.4 billion. Though the absolute profit amount wasn't specified in the summary I found. At the industry-wide level, A survey of plastics processors in early 2025 found that in 2024, around 74% reported profit margins of 5% or more. Only 6% were unprofitable.
We're tackling the plastic and health problem from several angles, but the truth is, it's a mix of real progress and still to slow action. Here's a clear breakdown of what's happening globally. 1. Cutting plastic at the source, bans and restrictions. Many countries are banning single-use plastics like bags, straws, and foam containers, for example, EU, Kenya, Canada, several US states. Producer responsibility laws, extended producer responsibility (EPR). Rules make companies pay for the collection and safe disposal of their plastic products. Global Plastics Treaty in progress. The UN is negotiating a legally binding treaty to cut plastic production and pollution by 2040. 2. Safer materials and design, biodegradable and compostable plastics. Research into plant-based plastics PHA that break down faster without releasing harmful microplastics. Non-toxic additives, efforts to replace harmful chemicals like BPA, phthalates, and PFAS in packaging and bottles. Reusable systems, companies like Loop, Algramo, and grocery chains are piloting refillable and reusable packaging. 3. Better waste management, improved recycling, expanding chemical recycling and mechanical recycling capacity, although still imperfect. It reduces landfill and leakage into the environment. Global cleanup projects, the ocean cleanup, plastic ban, and local river cleanup initiatives are removing.
4. Public health research and policy, microplastic and nanoplastic studies. Governments are funding research into how plastics move through the human body and cause harm. Drinking water standards. Some countries are beginning to regulate microplastic levels in bottled and tap water. Food contact regulations, stricter limits on plastic leaching into food from packaging. 5. Consumer awareness and lifestyle shifts, plastic-free campaigns, movements like Plastic-Free July encourage people to swap to glass, metal, and fabric alternatives. Labeling and transparency. Some products now carry labels about their microplastic footprint or recyclability. Grassroots pressure, NGOs and consumers are pushing companies to change faster. The challenge, even with these steps, plastic production is still rising and microplastics are already inside our air, water, food and bodies. Solving the health problem means not just better disposal, but producing a lot less plastic in the first place. New from the White House, government aligns with plastic industry interests, blocking global efforts to reduce plastic production and pollution. MAHA and MAGM movements fail to challenge corporations responsible for plastic pollution, prioritizing industry over health. Public support exists for bold action to reduce plastic production and regulate hazardous substances in consumer products. Plastics contain thousands of chemicals, many hazardous to health, found in human blood, lungs, and brain tissue.
How did we let this happen? I've been warning people about plastic since 1971, but no one seems to listen. I sometimes feel like no art. So I guess this is my way of building my arc, hoping that someone will listen in 2025. I still boil my water, and I'm very conscious of the packaging of my food. Here's a quick Uncle Earl story about plastic. In the year 2021, I was working for PBS in Detroit. I was working midnight as the master control operator. Around 3:30 in the morning, I noticed a program that I just racked up to be aired. I noticed the same interest of the DuPont complex in 1971, and it was a documentary about a gentleman who worked in the DuPont plant for 30 years, and he also showed the golden film floating around the plant. And I said to myself, I was there, and he was complaining about his bones was beginning to dissolve, and his hands, and in his arms, and how many of his co-workers died of cancer because of the dangerous chemicals to make plastic. Remember, I'm Uncle Earl fundraiser, and I'm not going to leave the next generation without a fight, so I prepared some funding opportunities for those who are interested of making funding projects for yourself or our families for the betterment of humankind. Thank you for taking the time out to watch. Important message. This is Uncle Earl. See you next time. Here's a roundup of current funding opportunities for plastic recycling and repair, covering federal, state, nonprofit, and regional sources tailored to various scales and goals. 1. U.S. federal opportunities. EPA Solid Waste Infrastructure for Recycling SWIFR grants includes funding for recycling infrastructure and materials reuse repair. Offers $20 million for Tribe Intertribal Consortia awards $100K $1.05 m each, and $58 million for City County Community Projects $500K $5 m each. Also includes the Recycling Education and Outreach Grant. $39 M total for broad coalition campaigns on composting education, and so on. Separate consumer education grants under the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Total $75 million, FY to 02 to FY to 0 to 6. Round to close December 20th, 2024 with awards expected in 2025. EPA and Biden infrastructure investment. The EPA is planning to invest $275 million in recycling infrastructure as part of broader climate and pollution reduction initiatives.
2. Nonprofits and industry coalitions. The Recycling Partnership offers grants and technical assistance across the U.S., community recycling improvements, for example, curbside, drop-off multifamily. Specialized grants, film and flexible plastics, PET, polypropylene, aluminum can sorting upgrades in MRFS materials recovery facilities. Supports Michigan-specific education grants for small communities 10,000 households. Closed-loop partners. Provides loans not grants for circular economy and plastics infrastructure. Local Recycling Fund with PepsiCo. Infrastructure Fund loans for recycling infrastructure. Circular Plastics Fund flexible financing for plastics recovery recycling in US and Canada.
Michigan, Next Cycle Circular Economy Grants. EGLES 2025 program awarded $5.60 million plus to diverse projects. Plastic transformation into materials, for example. Designed to classified plastic into countertops. Robotic systems for recycling, repurposing plastics into sports gear, community redemption setups, reusable product manufacturing, and so on. California, Recycled Fiber, Plastic, and Glass Grant, supports expansion or new facilities using post-consumer plastics among other materials to create new products. Eligible entities include local governments, private companies, nonprofits, universities, and tribes and co. California, Beverage Container Recycling Grants. The CRG program offers $75K to $75K per grant, with total around $1.5 M per cycle. Targets CRV beverage materials recycling infrastructure and market development. Multiple subprograms exist.
This is Uncle Earl Ai preach once told me if there's a problem is always funding opportunities for the problem and money to be made. The plastic in our bodies is becoming a big problem. This is an urgent notices to my family and friends and all mankind. For more funding opportunities you can email Uncle Earl at unclear0999gmail.com.
Welcome, I'm Uncle Earl introducing my new Uncle Earl AI Media LLC service with editing, video, production, post-production service. Video AI creator, broadcaster with a blend of fundraising.